Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pixar Astrology. I'm your host, Pix, and I'm thrilled to have you back here for part 2 of our Venus retrograde series, I guess. So be sure to check out part 1 if you haven't checked out part 1 yet. Today, we're going to be deep diving into the Venus retrograde that's happening at 28 degrees Leo on July 22nd through September 3rd, where it will station direct at 12 degrees Leo. So I'll be going over each sign individually so you can see how Venus retrograde will affect you personally. I'll be sharing some tips on how to make the most of this time, so be sure to check the timestamps in the description to hop straight to your sign. Tuna also says hello and is giving me fur in my mouth. So before we get started, I wanted to mention gotta plug my few things. I have a fellowship where I give out weekly horoscopes via email every Sunday to help prepare you for what's to come astrologically that week, what kind of energy to expect. I also have, I have a cat hair in my mouth, just always. I also do monthly horoscopes. I have monthly R&Rs, which are reports and remedies. So I send you a month report for what kind of energy to expect, a timeline of what transits are going down for you that month, and then I prescribe you some remedies and remediations, like using meditations and certain tarot cards and certain planetary magic that you can use to make Saturn or Mars be nicer to you, for example. And I also have a free Discord server where we chat about astrology and tarot and mysticism and all sorts of other fun things. My community is amazing. I love all of you. So that's free. You can join that. It's called Pix's Ninth House Discord server. The link is in the description. And of course, there are one-on-one consultation appointments available with me as well if you want me to check out your chart. Little update for me, I guess, also. I've been working on fixing a studio in the garage. We fixed all the walls, we painted them, and now I'm going to be furnishing it and decorating it. So how about I show you that? For those of you who are still here and haven't left, I'm going to show you. Okay, let me put on my shoes. You guys get to see my nasty actual life and the gross carpet. So we'll go in the door, and here is the studio. Let me turn on the lights. Hi, Tuna. I apologize for the editing, or for the audio. Apologies for the audio. It echoes in here, and that's what all of this stuffing is for. But yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm very excited for it. Hi. So yeah, I'll be reporting to you from this corner, hopefully next time, and it will be not so echoey, and there will be good sound, I promise. And then my color, and this is Chris's side, so that's fun. Yeah. All right, let's get started. Paisley, come on, let's go. Come on, Paige. Yeah, thanks for coming on my adventure and seeing. Paisley, come on. Cool. Go on. Here it is. Okay. Apologies also that the mic is here. Apologies for everything, okay? I'm just sorry. I'm a mess. What can I say? But let us begin. Let us begin with Aries. So let me pull up your chart. Okay. So the Venus retrograde is happening in your 5th house, and that's kind of a fun Venus retrograde. Y'all are lucky. That's a fun Venus retrograde. Some themes. Again, the dates are July 22nd through September 3rd. And the themes we have with a Venus retrograde in the 5th house: creativity, self-expression, pleasure, romance, children, hobbies, creativity. I already said that. So possible effects of this Venus retrograde would be something like rekindling a past romance, rekindling a past hobby that once sparked joy for you, rethinking what truly brings you pleasure and happiness, finding out that your usual recreational activities, the things you do for fun, aren't as satisfying, which will lead you to explore new ones. Also, reconsidering relationships, reconsidering relationships with your children, if you have any, paying more attention to what makes you uniquely you. These are some themes for Venus retrograde in the 5th house. So Venus also rules your 2nd house and your 7th house. So the 2nd house rules possessions, finances, and self-worth. 7th house rules partnerships, relationships, and just other people in general. So the Venus retrograde will be touching on those topics as well, reorganizing, redoing. So possible specifics. We have reevaluating your financial habits, reevaluating your values, reevaluating values, revaluing. Dealing with unexpected expenses can come up with Venus stationing, especially related to what entertains you, your hobbies, your personal joy. Again, reflecting on past relationships and your role in these relationships. If you are in a relationship, you might find yourself reassessing its value. If you are single, you might be pondering more about what you want in a future partner, or you might be introduced to new people throughout this Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde is a process, okay? So again, it starts July 22nd through September 3rd. This is not a one and done event. It is a time for reflection, revision, and maybe even a little bit of reinvention. So some possible things you can expect knowing all of this now. So you might rekindle a past romance, a past hobby that once brought you joy. You might find yourself reassessing what truly brings you pleasure and happiness, like books, hobbies, people. You might find that your usual fun activities or creative outlets are not as satisfying, and this prompts you to explore new ones. You could be rethinking relationships. You could be rethinking relationships with children, finding new ways to connect with your children if you have them. You might find yourself indulging in impromptu celebrations, like fun parties. It's a party season for Aries. As Venus also influences your 2nd house, you might be reevaluating your financial habits. There might be some financial things that come up for you, good and bad. Unexpected expenses, reconsidering your values throughout this Venus retrograde and how they align with your spending habits specifically. It's definitely a good retrograde for reevaluating your budget, reviewing your budget, especially in relation to fun things. If you are in a relationship, it's a good time to reassess its value, as I said. If you're single, you'll be thinking a lot more about partnership, or more people will be brought into your life. So keep an eye out. And you might have unexpected encounters with ex-lovers, ex-friends, exes. So this can also be a time to resolve past relationship issues or finally find closure. This retrograde specifically holds very similar themes to the Venus retrograde that happened the summer of 2015. It was retrograding in the same house, in the 5th house for you, so don't be surprised if some of the same themes from the summer of 2015 are coming up again. Maybe it's this, the universe's way of saying, hey, remember this? Time for a redo. So here are my tips for y'all. And Tuna says hello. We're going to take advantage of this retrograde by rediscovering old hobbies. Now is a great time to dust off your old guitar or pull out your old paintbrushes. You never know what kind of sparks will fly with a Venus retrograde. Also, be open to new forms of pleasure during this Venus retrograde. Your usual go-to for fun might not be cutting it, so why not try something new during this Venus retrograde? Retrogrades are trial periods, so give yourself permission to try things. Reevaluate your spending on fun things. Are you blowing too much cash on 7-Eleven? Or are you not investing enough in your actual happiness? Do you need to stop going to the snack store and buying snacks and instead invest in new clothes? Something like that. Also, So yeah, take a look at where your money's going during this Venus retrograde. Also, reflect on your relationships. Whether you're single, whether you're hitched, take a step back and think about what you want and what you need in particular. And be honest about your worth. Do you really feel like you're getting shortchanged, either materially or emotionally somewhere in your life? This is the time to assess your self-worth and ensure that it is being reflected in your relationships and in your wallet. Try not to make any financial decisions. With the second house here, you might want to resist the urge to buy the flashy thing you promised that's promising to make you feel fabulous. Unless this is something you've been considering for a long time, then the Venus retrograde is a good time to buy something and integrate it into your life so that it's all set and integrated for when Venus stations direct again. Be patient with your partners. Reconnect with your inner child. So do fun things, finger paint, walk around barefoot, go swimming in a pool and pretend you're a dolphin. Stay open to change. The retrogrades are about reflection and reconsideration. So embrace this chance to make changes that lead to your long-term happiness, because that's what Venus is working on for you right now. So have fun with it. Lastly, just have fun. Venus is all about pleasure after all. So find the joy in this journey, and do what you want. So that's what we have for you, Aries. If you enjoyed this video and want to delve deeper into astrology with me, remember that I have my fellowship, which offers personalized horoscopes weekly and monthly. For a more intimate astrological discussion, I am, of course, available for one-on-one consultations. And please do join us in the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro conversation flowing. And Godspeed, friends. I will check in with you when Venus is direct again, and we'll see what has happened since then. Hello, Tauruses. So Venus, your ruling planet, so this is going to be a big one for y'all. And you're probably already feeling it because Venus is moving at a glacial pace as I am recording this on the 19th. Venus has already got to where it's going to retrograde, and it has basically slowed down to a stop, getting ready for it. So you're already feeling it. As a Venus-ruled person, you might be feeling extra, not lost necessarily, but kind of confused. Like there's a stop sign in your way, and you need to work through that before you can move forward. But anyway, Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 4th house. And so this brings up themes of family, comfort, security, roots, home, foundation, private life. So possible Venus retrograde effects could be revisiting old patterns about your home and about your family, feeling nostalgic, feeling homesick, making changes to your living space, sorting through old belongings, working through your connection to your roots and your ancestors, feeling more comfortable in your own skin by the end of this is likely. So the other thing, Venus is your ruling planet, so your 1st house is going to get a little bit of retrograde effects as well as your 6th house. So your 1st house rules self-image, identity, appearance. Your 6th house is about your daily life, your work, your health, your routine, your pets. So Venus retrograde here could have you feeling a bit more self-critical or introspective. Currently, you could be considering making changes to your appearance or your personal style in general, thinking of grading up. Also, focusing on your health and your well-being could be a theme for this retrograde, sorting through your old habits, sorting through your old routines, and just finding more balance in your life overall. So Venus retrograde is a process. It is not a one-and-done thing. It is not a one-time event, but rather it provides time to reflect, review, and revise. It starts on July 22nd, and it ends September 3rd, so about a month and a half. And so let's talk about more things of what you can expect during this retrograde as a Taurus rising. So you might be feeling a strong urge to redecorate some things, and that is majorly supported. You might find yourself sorting through old family photos, old mementos, feeling nostalgic. You might reconsider your relationship with certain family members, maybe reaching out to those you haven't spoke to in a while, or not reaching out to those you think don't deserve being reached out to. You could also be reassessing what truly makes you feel secure right now and comfortable at home, and then make the changes accordingly through, over the month and a half. You might also have this longing to look up your ancestry DNA, or just connecting to your roots and your heritage. If there are unresolved issues related to your home or your family, they will probably resurface for resolution over the coming month and a half. And since Venus is your ruler, your planetary ruler, you could be reconsidering what you look like, your personal style, cutting your hair, dyeing your hair, buying a bunch of new clothes that aren't your normal style. And you might consider this Venus retrograde as a time for introspection and reconsidering just who you are and how you present yourself to the world. It's okay for you to go in the oven and bake a little bit. And then on, in September, you can come out and be a nice, yummy cake. So allow yourself this process. So let's see. Being brought awareness about how your personal values align with your outward appearance or your outward behavior. Are you living in alignment with your truth? That's something that can come up. You might be considering the first impression that you're giving people, and you might experiment with that. Venus ruling your 6th house could also have you reassessing some sort of routine. Something in your daily routine needs to change or is in the process of changing, having to do with your health and wellness habits. You might find yourself revisiting old health routines that you used to love, or discovering new ways to jazz up your routine. So your relationships with work colleagues also might be going through a period of review and adjustment with Venus retrograde, because it rules your 6th house of coworkers. Overall, you might be reassessing how you balance your work life and your personal life, and just making changes to find the healthier equilibrium. And this retrograde will be holding similar themes to the summer of 2015. So look back in your calendar. This was the last time Venus stationed retrograde in your 4th house, and you might find that some of the same themes and effects that came up in the summer of 2015 are coming up again for another round. So here are my tips for Venus retrograde for y'all. Number 1, reflect on what home means to you. Is it a place? Is it a feeling? Is it a person? This Venus retrograde is a great time to ponder on what brings you comfort and what brings you security. Number 2, revisiting your roots. Whether it is thumbing through old family albums or exploring your genealogy online, reconnecting with your past can be a very powerful time for insight and healing. Number 3, consider a mini home makeover. If your space has been feeling a little bit off, now is a perfect time to redecorate, rearrange, but just remember, keep it simple, budget friendly during the retrograde. Don't go crazy and make regrets. Okay, number 4, self-care is not selfish. Repeat after me, Taurus. Self-care is not selfish. Did you repeat it? Okay. So with the 1st house at play, Venus ruling your 1st house, Venus ruling you, it is important for you to look after number 1. That's you, your number 1. Whether it's a spa day or a quiet evening with a book, put your well-being first during this Venus retrograde. That is very important. Number 5, reassess your work-life balance. The 6th house influence could have you scrutinizing your daily routine. Are you getting enough downtime? If not, it might be time to set some more boundaries. My bangs are so long, I gotta cut them. It's getting in my eyeballs. Number 6, connect with family. Schedule family dinners. Make time for a long chat with a relative that you haven't spoke to in a while. And when I say family, I mean chosen family, not necessarily blood family, but of course blood-related family also, but your chosen family. Number 7, be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Retrogrades can definitely stir up old emotions. So give yourself plenty of grace, plenty of patience for this time. It's all a part of the growth process. I think number 8, get health conscious. So a good diet, plenty of exercise, quality sleep, very important during Venus retrograde. Treat your body with care. Number 9, reflect on your identity. How do you present yourself to the world, and is it aligned with who you truly are? Is what you're doing in alignment with who you truly are right now? This is a great period to think about your personal style and your overall identity. And my last tip for y'all is breathe. Changes are going to come, but remember, the uncomfortableness that comes with change is temporary, and it's necessary for growth. So just keep an open mind and try and enjoy the process. And that's what I have for y'all, Tauruses. If you enjoyed this video and want to delve deeper with me, you can, of course, join Pix's Fellowship for weekly or monthly personalized horoscopes. For a more intimate astrological discussion, of course, I'm available for one-on-one consultations. And lastly, please join us at the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro conversation flowing. We're always talking about fun stuff there. So thank you again, and hopefully next time I will catch you in my studio. Good luck, my friends. I will check in with you when Venus stations direct again around September 2nd. Hello, my Gemini risings. Welcome to our second check-in for the Venus retrograde starting on July 22nd. Let's hop right in. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 3rd house, which brings up communicating, siblings, your neighborhood. It's a very mental and active house. So possibilities with the 3rd house include, rediscovering old forms of communication. So like finding your old laptop and busting it open and finding all these old pictures. Reconnecting with siblings or old childhood friends. Going on frequent trips in your car. Engaging in your community in general, going to block parties, going to flea markets, working on a street mural, also revisiting old books and old studies, cracking open old texts that you used to like. So this is all 3rd house stuff. So Venus also will be affecting your 12th house and 5th house because it rules those houses in your chart. So other effects could include vivid dreams, heightened intuition, finding peace in solitude, wanting to spend more time alone, again, traveling, wanting to express yourself creatively, and just in general, old passions resurfacing. So Venus retrograde is a process. It's not a singular event, but a rich, ongoing journey of reflection, revisitation, renewal, reorganization. And it starts now and it ends September 3rd. So let's talk about more things for you to expect specifically as a Gemini rising. You might find that you are reevaluating your ways of communicating, and you are going to reassess how you express yourself on some level. You might reconnect with old friends, old classmates from your early school days, or from your old neighborhood. You can expect news or short trips, especially related to money or relationships. It's possible that you could be feeling an urge to learn. Your brain wants to soak things up, study things, or also teach things. You might also have misunderstandings or fights with siblings, cousins, or neighbors, if applicable. Hopefully not. But it's possible you get into a fight with your neighbor or a sibling or a cousin. So be aware of that. Venus also, like I said earlier, influences your 12th house. So you could be finding hidden matters or secrets coming to light that need to be dealt with during this retrograde. And you might feel the need to seek solitude and retreat by yourself more often and revisit old memories and old dreams. Just in general, thank you, 12th house, past issues that you thought were over might resurface that require healing and forgiveness. You might find yourself looking back on past romantic relationships that were kept hidden and secret specifically. And with Venus also affecting your 5th house, matters of the heart are highlighted. That's why I'm bringing up your passions, your relationships. You could find past lovers coming into your life. There could be a need to reassess your expression in dating or in relationships or in creative styles as well. Reassessing your creative style. If you have children, you might find that your relationship with them is going through a review, or old issues might resurface, or some sort of upgrade happening with your child or your kid, your adult child. There might also be, you might be drawn to old hobbies and old creative endeavors that you used to be a part of, or that you used to find joy in, that you didn't for a while, and then you're finding joy in them again. Like maybe you used to play video games, but you took like a big break and you start playing during this Venus retrograde and it starts to bring you joy that it didn't before. That's total Venus retrograde here. You might have a misunderstanding with a friend or family member about something you said, because Venus will be retrograding in your house of communication. So your communication style is under the microscope at this time. So you might also try not to miss a flight. Try not to have your car break down on a road trip. Double, triple check all your travel plans. Dealing with sibling rivalry is also possible. You might get into an argument with a sibling over something super dumb or not dumb. It might need to be an argument that needs to happen. So this retrograde holds similar themes to the summer of 2015. So go back in your calendar, go back in your agenda, go back in your photo albums, and check out what was happening for you the summer of 2015, because that was the last time Venus stationed in your 3rd house, and you might find similar vibes from then. Old themes might resurface in a new light this time around. So here are your tips to deal with the Venus retrograde. You're going to review your communication style on purpose. You're not going to let it happen to you. You're going to, get ahead of it. So are you feeling misunderstood often? Are you feeling like your communication is landing and effective? This is an ideal time for enhancing your communication skills. Taking some sort of communication class is a big thumbs up. Also, picking up a book you've been meaning to read is highly supported. The 3rd house is all about reading books. So read books. Also, practicing mindful speaking and active listening. So one really good thing for you to learn would be active listening, having someone tell you something, and then you repeat back to them what you heard, and you ask them if there's anything else that you missed. That is active listening. That makes people feel heard and also confirms that you heard them. So practice active listening. Check in with your subconscious. So spend time alone if you're feeling called to do that. Meditate, journal, talk to therapists, all beneficial with this retrograde. Revisiting an old creative project. So you might be able to find joy and insight in revisiting an old project that you've been very interested in the past, but kind of let go of. Also, be patient with your dreams. There may be some crazy dreams happening, bizarre, vivid. It's releasing emotions. It's communicating with you. Be patient with your dreams. Also, engage in comforting hobbies. So find comfort in activities you love, whether it's painting, cooking, gardening, or taking long walks. Engage in comforting hobbies. Also, connect with your siblings, connect with your neighbors. The 3rd house also rules siblings and neighbors. And so if you've been meaning to reconnect, now's the time. Send them a present. Go next door. Give them some of the food from your garden. Check in with them. And last but not least, for my tip, relax. Changes in routine and perception are very common with a Venus retrograde here. So try not to stress too much over the next month and a half. Give yourself some grace. These are changes that are leading to what you want. So as long as you're being mindful. So that's what we have for the Venus retrograde for now. I will check in again in September, and we will reevaluate what went on for the past month and a half. So if you enjoyed this video and want to delve deeper into astrology with me, remember you can join Pix's Fellowship for weekly or monthly personalized horoscopes. For a more intimate astrological discussion, of course, I'm available for one-on-one consultations. And lastly, you are invited to join my free 9th house Discord server where we talk about tarot and astrology, and I give lots of tips and tricks on how to survive life astrologically. So I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next time. And now we're moving on to Cancer. Hello, my Cancer risings. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 2nd house around July 22nd. It's already stationing as we speak right now. So the 2nd house is about finances, resources, talents, self-worth, and values. So reevaluating assets, shifting perceptions with your self-worth, unexpected financial twists, rediscovering latent talents that you haven't checked in with in a while, and just changes in personal values and self-esteem are all possibilities due to the 2nd house's involvement. But also I want to talk about Venus is also going to be affecting your 11th house and your 4th house because Venus rules those houses in your chart also. Let me pull up your chart, actually. The 11th house and the 4th house bring in like reconnecting with old friends, rethinking your place in your community, revisiting family traditions, reflecting on your roots and your foundation and your security. And I'll get into more specifics in a minute. But I want to remind you that Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now and it ends September 3rd. So it is not a one and done thing. It is a journey of reflection, review, and reimagining things rather than just one single event. So, I have to burp. Excuse me. Okay, so what can you expect? Some possible themes for this Venus retrograde include reevaluating your personal finances, looking at where your money is going, and making changes to your spending habits that reflect what you want to change. You could also discover new ways to boost your income or rethink your attitude towards wealth and towards possessions. Again, there might be some unexpected expenses or financial challenges that come up during this retrograde that basically force you to reassess your budget. I don't want this to be the case, but you might start questioning your self-worth and what it is that truly gives you a sense of value and satisfaction. This could be coming up for you. There could also be a desire to invest in something from the past, like a nostalgic purchase of some kind. And since Venus also rules your 11th house, again, your relationships within your social circle and your community are coming into focus and under review. You might reconnect with old friends or groups that you used to be a part of. There might be misunderstandings with friends that need addressing and recalibration. People from the past might be coming up for you, or maybe you are finding you are recalibrating your relationships with people in general. The 11th house also rules your aspirations traditionally. So you might be reconsidering your long-term goals during this retrograde and how they align with your current affiliations, your current friendships. Like, do your goals and your friends vibe for the most part? And also with Venus influencing your 4th house, home and family matters are also highlighted during this retrograde. You could feel a desire to redecorate or make changes to your environment, your home environment. You might have family members or issues from the past resurface requiring you to pay attention to them. Maybe your parents are pissy, or there might be a need to reconnect to your roots or reevaluate your sense of security. Maybe looking into your genealogy online, maybe calling your great aunt that you haven't spoken to in a while. But reconnecting with your roots and being mindful about what makes you feel secure, that root chakra energy, right? And also family relationships might need to be reassessed with possible reconciliation or closure with certain family members. Blood is not thicker than water on this channel. We cut off who we need to cut off, and we bring back who needs to be brought back, okay? So this retrograde, the other big thing, this retrograde is going to be holding similar themes to the summer of 2015. So get your calendar, get your journal, look back at those dates, and that will give you a hint on what to expect, because that was the last time Venus was retrograde in your second house. So again, some of those same themes are going to come up. Prepare to revisit the past in unexpected ways. Now, here are the tips I have for Venus retrograde. Look at your budget on purpose. Don't make the universe force you to look at your budget. Take your Adderall and look at the budget. Really focus. Are you managing your resources effectively? Now is the perfect time to reassess these finances and find out where you can make improvements. Is it time to stop going to 7-Eleven and buying soda every day and instead invest that in a new phone or something? Things to consider. Number 2, evaluate what truly, truly brings you pleasure. So, and what brings value to your life. Like I said, is going to 7-Eleven really bringing value to your life? There are the little joys. We love little joys and little treats, but also can that energy be put somewhere else? That's what the Venus retrograde wants you to look at. Number 3, connect with your friends. The 11th house wants you to reconnect. So reach out to friends, schedule a catch-up session, spend quality time with other people, appreciate other people. Number 4, do not rush any financial decisions. So with Venus retrograde in your second house, it is wise to generally hold back on the big ticket purchases until you've thoroughly considered all aspects. And once you have thoroughly considered everything, then the retrograde confirms it's a good time. If it's something you've been thinking about, like a car or something like that you've been thinking about for a while, and you've done all of the work, just don't buy a big purchase on a whim. If you've been planning it, that's totally cool and totally on par with Venus retrograde. I think I'm on number 5. Do home improvements. It's a great home improvement time. The 4th house is all about home. So Venus retrograding will definitely help you fix whatever needs to be fixed at home. Spend some time alone, reconnect with your roots, private time. This is all supported. Reflect on your income. And just lastly, stay patient and understanding. Retrogrades are a time of confusion that requires you to introspect and change. So be gentle with yourself and others during the retrograde. So that's basically what we have. This was our part 2 check-in. I will check in again when Venus stations direct around the beginning of September 3rd. And we will check in and see what happened. And so if you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, you can definitely join Pix's Fellowship. I offer personalized weekly and monthly horoscopes. I also have one-on-one consultations available if anyone wants to schedule that. And of course, I have the free 9th house Discord server where the astro conversation is always flowing. That's where you can contact me the easiest. And all of the people there are amazing too, so join us. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for being here. I will check in with you again in a few weeks. Good luck, my friends. Comment below. Let me know what you're expecting, and then we'll check back in a month and a half, and we'll see if what you expected came true. And then we'll move on to Leo. Hello, Leos. Welcome to part 2 of the Venus retrograde check-in. We're going to talk about what you can expect specifically with this Venus retrograde. It's a big one for y'all. Let me pull up your chart. It's a big one for y'all. It's retrograding in your first house, which is all about you, your identity, your appearance, your goals, your image, and fresh starts in general. So the first house brings up your personal style. It brings up self-reflection. It brings up revisiting your own personal goals. And it brings up fresh starts. So the other thing is, with Venus stationing, we want to look at what houses Venus rules in your chart, because those will also be affected when Venus moves. So we have the 10th and the 3rd houses also being affected for you with this Venus retrograde. So not only is it affecting your 1st house, it's also your 3rd and your 10th. This is a big Venus retrograde for y'all. You're going to be different people by the end of this one, and I can almost guarantee it, from the inside out. So I digress. Venus also affects your 10th house and your 3rd house. So this brings up reconsidering your career path. It brings up reconsidering your public image and the roles that you take on and are known for taking on in your community. It's also bringing up unexpected encounters with authority figures, and revisiting old communication styles, or traveling styles. So Venus and I'll get into more specifics in a minute, but first I want to remind you that Venus retrograde is a process. It is not a one and done event. It starts now and it ends September 3rd. And we can think of it as a 1.5, 2-month festival of self-discovery and transformation, a conference, a festival, an event. So what can you expect as a Leo rising with Venus stationing retrograde? You might feel an urge to change your personal style or change your physical appearance, cut your hair, buy all new clothes. You could be questioning how you come across to others and notice and then make changes. There might be some sort of period of introspection where you reevaluate your own personal desires and your own self-worth. You could find yourself reflecting on past relationships or and how that shaped your identity now. There may be unexpected reunions with ex-partners or ex-friends that make you rethink your personal growth on some level. We're recalibrating during this Venus retrograde, okay? Venus also affects your 10th house, so this could bring about shifts in your career or your public image or the roles you are known for taking on in your life. You might reassess your professional goals, your professional ambitions, and just in general, consider a different career path. That's totally possible with this retrograde. There could be changes in your relationships with authority figures or superiors at work, your boss, or even your parents. There could be changes in your relationship with them. You might also get recognition for past accomplishments finally at work, or revisit old projects. You could also find yourself revisiting old ideas or returning to previous studies that you used to be studying, but you kind of stopped for a minute. Also, there may be misunderstandings or miscommunications that need to be sorted out throughout the retrograde, because Venus rules your 3rd house of communication. So, misunderstandings, miscommunications are definitely possible. Relationships with your siblings or your neighbors might also come under review for some reason. You could also find yourself wanting to express yourself more, especially through writing. Also writing and speaking are supported. So one other important thing about this Venus retrograde, it holds similar themes to the summer of 2015. So go back to your calendar, go back to your journal, look up the summer of 2015, and that was the last time Venus stationed in your 1st house. So you can, check that out, prepare for a fun-filled deja vu, revisiting those themes that came up around that same time, but with a fresh perspective 8 years later. So it won't be as bad. So here are my tips for dealing with this Venus retrograde. We are going to reassess your personal style. Venus in the 1st house is all about appearances, so it is a great time to declutter your wardrobe or experiment with a new look. Reflect on your self-image, number 2. Are you satisfied with the image you're projecting? If not, this period is a great time to sort that out. Introspection on how you view yourself too. Number 3, consider your career trajectory. With the 10th house being all about career and public image, the universe offers you this time to reflect on your career path and your long-term goals. Number 4, reconnect with your siblings, reconnect with your neighbors. The 3rd house is all about your immediate environment, so you are supported in engaging with people in your local community specifically. I'm losing count. Number 5, please practice self-love and self-care. The 1st house is all about you, making it a great time to take care of yourself and focus on your health and your well-being and your wants and needs. Number 6, please be patient with yourself. Venus retrograde will bring up a lot of feelings and thoughts, and remember that they pass and that they're not necessarily true or law, for example. So, let them come and go. Remember to be gentle with yourself. Number 7, foster effective communication. The 3rd house is all about communication, so work on improving your communication skills. Be a mindful speaker, be a mindful listener, be an active listener. Active listening is when you repeat back what you heard, what someone said. So someone's telling you about their day, and then you repeat back what you heard them say, and you ask if you missed anything. That is active communication. Learning that would be very beneficial and supported. Also, reflect on your personal ambitions that aren't necessarily career oriented. The 10th house rules what you want to be known for. So if you want to be known for being a wife, being a mother, being a community developer, whatever it is that you want to be known for, reevaluate your ambitions. You're supported in reevaluating that. And we're all changing. We're always shifting. So it's okay that our ambitions change and shift with us. That's not a failing. I know that we were raised to believe that we were supposed to know what we wanted to be when we grow up, when we're fucking 18, but that's not life. And so it's okay that our ambitions change and that maybe we don't know what they are either. Again, be patient with yourself, practice self-love and self-care. I digress. Look at, Venus retrograde also supports you in looking at your professional relationships and reconsidering that. So is your boss super shitty? Is it worth being there? Are there superiors in your life that are making your life worse? Think about that. Consider it. Make necessary changes if you can. And my last tip is to focus on learning. If there is a skill or if there is knowledge that you've been meaning to improve, Venus retrograde is the perfect time to start. This time, thanks to the 3rd house's influence. So that's what I have for now for the Venus retrograde. I will have a part 3 for you when Venus stations direct, September 3rd, and we will discuss all of the things that happened and all the things that will happen. So until then, if you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper with me in astrology, you can join my fellowship where I have a private community. I have weekly horoscopes. I have monthly horoscopes, lots of options for the fellowship. So you can check out the fellowship if you want to join us. I also offer one-on-one consultations for astrology readings or Discord consultations. And of course, you are free to join my 9th house Discord server, where we are always chatting about fun, silly goose things. So please join us. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below and let me know what you are expecting for this retrograde. What has been coming up already? Because you're already feeling it. You've already been feeling it. You have an idea of what to expect. It's probably a bunch of things. It's not just one thing. So yeah, comment below. Let me know what's happening. And I will see y'all next time. Hello, my Virgo rising besties. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 12th house, which is not the funnest house. But don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. We're very creative. We can handle this. So the 12th house brings up dreams, hidden things, solitude, subconscious, spiritual enlightenment. So embracing solitude is good. Exploring your subconscious through therapy, journaling, meditating, seeking some sort of spiritual connection are all 12th house themes that are supported. But also Venus affects the 9th and the 2nd house in your chart also. So we also have the possibility of revisiting old philosophies, dealing with travel plans, evaluating your possessions, revisiting your self-esteem and your self-worth. These are all possible themes, and I'll talk more about specifics in a minute. But first, I want to remind you that Venus retrograde is a process. It is not a one and done event. It starts now and it ends September 3rd. This one is going to be a psychedelic journey of inner exploration and recalibration, not a sprint. It's a journey. It's a journey, not a sprint. So let's talk about what to expect now that we have all the basics. So you might feel a strong desire to withdraw, seek solitude, process your thoughts and feelings alone. You might find that old wounds or unresolved issues are resurfacing, especially related to past relationships or with your parents, because that's the same thing. I'm not going to get into it, but it's the same thing. 3, dreams and subconscious thoughts are going to be a lot more prominent with Venus stationing in your 12th house. And this will lead to unexpected insights and downloads and channeling. You also might feel an intense need to forgive and release past pain and hurts and move towards healing on some level. Since Venus also influences your 9th house, you could also begin to question philosophical beliefs and just philosophies in general, your personal beliefs even. You might feel a strong urge to travel and explore. You might feel a strong urge to connect with different cultures, either physically or mentally. You could be traveling a lot during this retrograde, or it is supported. There could be some sort of reevaluation or change in your attitude towards education. You might decide to resume an old study. Maybe you decided to actually go deeper in your astrological studies, for example, take classes. Also, you could find yourself rethinking your views on religion specifically, and also ethics. So Venus affects your 2nd house, so that might trigger a reassessment of your personal finances and possessions. Sorry, I have a cat hair in my eye. Or my hair. It might not be a cat hair. Okay, Venus affecting your 2nd house might trigger a reassessment of your money and your possessions, your material things. So you might change your approach towards earning or spending, maybe focusing more on saving, for example. You might make a big purchase you've been considering or sell a bunch of stuff you've been considering selling. There could be unexpected financial stuff that comes up also, which forces you to rethink these financial habits. So that's why I'm telling you to get ahead of the curve. Don't make the universe force you to look at your finances. Just look at them. Just look at them yourself. So one other big thing I want to talk about or point out is that this retrograde is going to be holding similar themes to the summer of 2015. So look back in your agenda, look back in your calendar, your journal, your diary, see what was going on in the summer of 2015, because that was last time Venus retrograded in your 12th house. So some of the same past experiences or feelings might come up again that prepare you to deep dive into your inner world. So here are the tips I have for dealing with this Venus retrograde. Embrace solitude on purpose. Don't make the universe get you sick or break your ankle that forces you into solitude. Just kind of embrace solitude on your own, because Venus is retrograding in your 12th house and it wants you to enjoy alone time. Meditate, journal, engage in solo activities that you enjoy, reconnect with yourself, because we're kind of prepping for Virgo season, right? We got to get through Leo season, but then it'll be Virgo season. So we need to be prepped and ready to shine then. Okay. Number 2, reflect on your past. The 12th house is about closure sometimes. So if there are unresolved issues from the past, now is the time to address them and find closure. Number 3, reassess your beliefs and your philosophies. Is there some sort of healer or philosopher that you follow that might not be resonating with you anymore? Check in with that, and that's okay. Is there some sort of, are you noticing that you are, what is the word I'm looking for? When you're like overly positive and it invalidates everyone? Are you love and lighting too hard? Are you not focusing on what's real? These are things to consider with the 9th house being involved. Are there beliefs that no longer serve you? This is a good time to let them go. Okay, number 4, watch your finances. I've been mentioning this, hounding you about this. Keep an eye on your spending habits. Consider if you need to make any adjustments. You are supported in making those adjustments during the retrograde. 5, explore spiritual practices. The 12th house and the 9th house are deeply, deeply spiritual, and they work together. So you might, again, explore spiritual practices, meditate more, maybe try yoga, tarot. Tarot's even in there. Occult things also connect you to yourself. Also, let's see, what number am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, consider a trip or consider a course, a education course. You will benefit. How do I say this? You will benefit from a change of scenery during this Venus retrograde, whether that is physical or mental. A change of scenery is necessary. Number 7, be patient with yourself. This is a very sensitive time with your 12th house activated, and that's why alone time is important, because you're a sensitive, squishy little being, and you can't go out there with your hard shell for too long before you get squished. You're going to be extra sensitive, extra psychic, extra intuitive, so you need extra rest and extra alone time. I've kind of already mentioned this, but more specifically, reevaluate your savings and your investments. This is a good time to take a hard look at your actual assets and consider if they're working out for you. Sell stuff you don't need anymore. Okay, number 8, try and foster a better understanding of your subconscious. This is, again, the same as connecting spiritually or spending time alone. Delving into your dreams and writing down the symbols that they carry are very, very interesting insights for this retrograde. And lastly, cultivate gratitude. Since the 2nd house is involved, it's important that we stay grateful. It's a great time to reflect on what you hold gratitude for and appreciation, and watch that expand during the Venus retrograde. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below. Let me know what you're expecting to happen. And if you enjoyed this video, you can delve deeper into astrology with me by joining my fellowship for personalized horoscopes, by booking a reading with me, or by joining my 9th house Discord server. So that's what we have. I will check in with you again when Venus stations direct, and we'll see what sort of things went on during the retrograde and evaluate how you did. So thanks again. I will see you next time. Hello, my Libra risings. Welcome. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 11th house. And so this brings up themes like reconnecting with old friends, reassessing your group affiliations, reviving social causes, rethinking your future plans and aspirations, and reevaluating your friendships overall. I'll get into more specifics in a minute, but also Venus will be affecting your 8th house and your 1st house topics. As a Libra rising, Let me pull up your chart. You are ruled by Venus, so you will be viscerally feeling this Venus retrograde, and you're probably already feeling it. As I record this, it is the 19th of July, and Venus has already hit the degree where it will be stationing. So that means that Venus is moving at a glacial pace, and so Libra risings might be feeling tired, beat down, not necessarily confused, but like, what is going on? Why is this happening? You're on time. So this Venus retrograde will bring up things around your self-image, your identity, your appearance, also 8th house things like resources and hidden matters and vulnerability, intimacy, and transformation. So transformative experiences are likely with this Venus retrograde. Reassessing your resources, reassessing a partnership possibly, and working through or reevaluating your identity and your appearance. So before I get into more specific examples of what to expect, I want to remind you that Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now, it starts July 22nd, and it ends on September 3rd. So it's like a month and a half. So it is a journey of reconnecting, reevaluating, and renewing. It's not a quick fix. It's rather a time for thoughtful introspection. So what can you expect as a Libra rising with this Venus retrograde? You might find yourself reevaluating your long-term goals and aspirations. You might have had a goal to work at a certain company or get a certain promotion. And now you've decided that, and maybe over the Venus retrograde, you decide you want to work for yourself, or that's your priority. You want to start your own business. You might start to reconsider your role within social groups or within your friend group or your community. You might be the group clown, and maybe you feel like people aren't taking you seriously anymore, and you want to reevaluate that. You could find that your friendships or relationships that used to be important to you are no longer serving who you are now. You might reconnect with old friends or old networks that you've lost touch with. You could find yourself reassessing what you truly value in friendships and group settings, and just totally recalibrating your social sphere. And there could just be a change in a dynamic within a group or a community that you belong to also. Since Venus influences your 8th house, I also want to bring up that it could push you to reconsider your attitudes towards shared resources or financial dependencies. You might start to delve deeper into emotional bonds and intimacy issues in your relationships. Unexpected financial matters related to debts, taxes, inheritances could arise in your life. If you have a partner, your partner's life could be super duper busy around this time. And overall, thank you, 8th house, you might experience some sort of emotional revelation or emotional transformation. So also, let's talk about Venus being your ruling planet. This could mean that you start to question your appearance or the way you present yourself to other people. You could decide to cut your hair, buy new clothes, dye your hair, just completely look different. You might reassess your approach to relationships and your general disposition towards others. If you're generally a very bubbly, friendly person, but really deep down you are tired, but you kind of have this fawning, people-pleasing tendency, you could find yourself being aware of that and maybe putting up a few more boundaries, or the opposite. Maybe you have too many boundaries and you need to let some walls down. But overall, you'll be feeling a lot more self-reflective about your identity and your desires and your community. And just in general, you might feel a shift on how you present yourself to the world by the end of this retrograde. So, one big thing I want to tell you. This retrograde holds similar themes to the summer of 2015. That was the last time Venus stationed retrograde in the same spot in the sky. So some memories, people, or aspirations from the summer of 2015 might resurface, which gives you a chance to reflect and learn from them. So prepare for a bit of a trip down memory lane. And here are some tips I have for dealing with this Venus retrograde. Reconnect with your old friends. This retrograde supports you in reconnecting with your old groups and make an effort and asks you to make an effort to reach out and renew old connections. Number 2, reevaluate resources that you share with someone else. It's a good time to reassess some sort of joint finances or plan or dive into deeper conversations with your partner about shared goals. Very intimate and vulnerable conversations are supported. Number 3, refresh your image. So Venus retrograde can be a great opportunity to change your style, try a new hairstyle, update your wardrobe, try something new that feels authentically you. Number 4, review your long-term goals. Don't make the universe force you to do it. Review it yourself. Are you still aligned with your dreams, or do you need to modify? Things to consider. Number 5, explore group activities. Join a new club, join an online group or a community, join the 9th house Discord server. Share your passions with like-minded besties, or just people, not besties, just like social interaction. Number 6, dig deep into your psyche. This is the 8th house effect. Engage in activities that help you explore your insides, like journaling, meditating, or therapy, which I highly recommend if you can find a good therapist. What number am I on? Number 6, be open to sudden changes. Be flexible, especially with social interaction. Number 7, reflect on your identity, reflect on who you are, how you perceive yourself. It's a good time to just write off this month and a half period as like a trial period where you get to try new things or try on a new role play character. Foster patience and understanding. I don't know if I'm number 8 or number 9, but this retrograde is intense. Venus retrograde is intense, so remember to be gentle with yourself. Everybody's navigating this stuff together, right? And my last tip is to keep your health in check. Venus retrograde might throw your regular routines out of balance. Ensure that you're eating well, you're getting rest, you're maintaining your routine, and you're taking good care of yourself like you would take care of your child if you had one or have one. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below. Tell me what you're expecting for this Venus retrograde. And then we can check back for my last check-in. I'm going to have a part 3 when Venus stations direct again, and we can talk about what to expect for the rest of the shadow period. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, remember that I have my fellowship, which provides weekly and monthly horoscopes, personalized. I also am available for one-on-one consultations. And of course, please join us in the free 9th house Discord server where we are chatting about astrology all the time. So again, thank you so much. Godspeed, my friends. I will see you on the other side. Hello, my Scorpio rising besties, my people, my favorites. Don't tell anyone else. But of course, Venus will be stationing retrograde in our 10th house. This brings up career goals, reputation, authority relationships, reimagining your public image, rekindling old career dreams. And I'll get into more specifics in a minute. But I also want to mention that Venus will be affecting your 7th and 12th houses also, because Venus is the ruler of those houses. So reassessing partnerships, reflecting on secrets, exploring spirituality, and helping other people are all things that can come up also. And so before I get into more specific things to expect, I want to reiterate that Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now around July 22nd and it ends September 3rd. So it's not just a fleeting phase. It's not just a one and done, but it is a month and a half of reflection and reassessment. So we can use this on purpose, right? There was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it is, and it'll come to me. So let's continue. What to expect. So with Venus stationing retrograde in your 10th house, you might question your career path. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that Venus is already stopped. The day I'm filming this, July 19th. Venus is already at the point where it's going to be stationing, and it's slowing down and is moving at a glacial slow pace. So you're already feeling the effects of Venus retrograde. So I'm hoping this list I'm about to give you is confirmation that you're on the right path already. And then we'll check in again around September 3rd for part 3 of this Venus retrograde series, and we will discuss what to expect for the upcoming shadow. But you already most likely have a vibe of what is happening for this Venus retrograde. So let us begin. You might be questioning your career path. You might be questioning your professional image. You might be considering a rebrand around this time. Revisiting old career opportunities or old career projects. You could be encountering previous colleagues, but most likely previous bosses, who then might make you rethink your current professional trajectory. A nice little benchmark moment. You might reassess actually, no, I don't want to talk about that yet. You might experience some sort of change in your public reputation or your public status or your status within your community. You might reconsider the role of love and money in your career and public life. Thank you, Venus. But also, thank you to the 7th house. You could be reassessing your long-term partnerships. You could decide to rekindle an old romantic relationship or an old business partnership. You might experience some sort of shifts in your commitments and your agreements with another person. You might start to reevaluate the balance between your work life and your personal life. With Venus having effects on your 12th house, you might feel like you need to delve deeper into your subconscious, go to therapy, start meditating, start journaling more, reading an artist's way. You might be experiencing vivid dreams or vivid memories coming up from the past. You could find yourself needing more alone time, which makes sense with all the changes happening for your 10th house. You might need extra 12th house energy where you actually just sink in, have that Scorpio rising alone time where you really recharge so that you can shine in your career. Okay, so 2 more things I want to say before I move on. You might feel drawn to more spiritual things or more artistic expression and just expressing yourself a little bit more openly. And you might be feeling a deeper sense of compassion or unity with others also, thanks to the 12th and 7th house interactions with Venus. Something's got to break our hard Scorpio rising exterior, you know? And Venus retrograde, I wouldn't say break it, but Venus retrograde softens us. So one thing I want to say that's really important is that this retrograde holds similar themes to the summer of 2015. That was the last time Venus stationed in the 10th house, in your 10th house. So go to your calendar, go to your agenda, go to your old journals, look at the dates from the summer of 2015, dust off the memories. These themes that ruled that period. Excuse me, I burp all the time. So the themes that ruled that period might be revisited, offering a chance of closure or deeper understanding of yourself. As they say, history often repeats itself, right? So let's make the most out of this time around. So here are my tips for y'all for the Venus retrograde. Number 1, reevaluate your career goals on purpose. Don't avoid them. Look into them. The 10th house is all about career, public image. And with Venus retrograde here, you got to reassess your career path. Are you passionate about your work? Is there room for growth? You know, all of these things. Reevaluate. And with that, revise your work relationships. Are you getting along with your colleagues? Are you getting along with your superiors? You might find yourself reassessing your relationships and making necessary adjustments with your own personal boundaries. That's very supported. Number 3, reflect on your relationship patterns. With the 7th house involved, you might find yourself reevaluating romantic relationships. So are you receiving the love and appreciation that you deserve, that you need? How can you improve your partnerships? This is supported. Number 4, seek solitude on purpose. Thanks to the 12th house effect, you could be craving solitude, and don't shy away from the feeling. Use it as a chance to recharge. Lean into it, because eventually you'll want to come back out of your cave, because this Venus retrograde will force you to. Number 5, review your subconscious beliefs. So this Venus retrograde might bring up deep-seated beliefs or issues that you have shoved down and ignored that now need your attention. So if you feel things bubbling up, that's right on time. What number am I on? I think number 6. Practice mindfulness. This is the 12th house business. I'm reminding you to keep your meditation habit, journaling, practicing yoga to remain grounded. Also, number 7, be open to changes in your public persona. So you might find yourself changing the way you present yourself, and that is perfect. That is perfectly on time. Use this period to develop a public persona that reflects what you want it to reflect. Number 8, set more boundaries. This is your 7th house. Redefine, refine, and express your boundaries clearly in relationships, romantic, friendly, any one-on-one interaction you have with clients even. Reevaluate your boundaries with clients. Number 9, embrace patience. All of the changes with your career, your public image, and your relationships aren't necessarily a walk in the park. So remember to be patient with yourself and others during this process. Venus retrograde is a process. Allow for that. And number 10, I think, I don't know, my last one. Nurture your physical health. Stress can be a thing with all the stuff going on in your 10th house, with Venus retrograde in your 10th house. So make sure you're taking care of your physical health. Number 1, without our bodies, what can we do, So that is what I have for this installment of the Venus retrograde series. I will be updating you when Venus stations direct September 2nd with some Venus shadow information. So until then, if you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, remember you can always join Pix's Fellowship, which offers personalized weekly and monthly horoscopes and community where I teach you lots of tips and tricks with astrology and divination. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations for anyone wanting a reading. And of course, please join us at the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro conversation flowing. It's always flowing there, and you are so welcome to be there with us. So thank you again. Comment below if you have any questions or if you want to tell me what you are expecting or what's happening for you already, because the Venus retrograde is already loud. Like, you already know. You already know what's going on. There might be a few other things, but I want to hear what's going on for you so that we can compare and contrast, because I am also a Scorpio rising that is going through some of these things. So we can discuss. We can also discuss in my 9th House Discord server. There's a whole Scorpio channel where we can just cult out. All right, I'll see you next time, y'all. Godspeed. Hello, Sagittarius risings. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 9th house. So this has you revisiting travel plans, rethinking education, either learning or teaching. It has you questioning beliefs that you've had and still have and reconsidering them, reevaluating your personal ethics and morals, and reconnecting with foreign connections or hanging out with people who are of a different culture than you are. So I'll get into more specifics, but I also want to mention that Venus will be affecting your 6th 6th and 11th houses as well, because Venus rules those in your chart. Let me go over there. Okay, so this brings up health routines, work-life balance, old friends, and your aspirations. And before I get into what to expect, I want to remind you that Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now around July 22nd and ends September 3rd. It is not a one-time event. It is a journey of reflection and revision. So, patience, my lovelies. So what to expect with this Venus retrograde? You might be feeling a longing to visit places that you've traveled to in the past, connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds specifically. You could find yourself reevaluating your beliefs and philosophies about love and about money. You might experience some sort of urge to return to school or renew some sort of studies that you've abandoned in the past, revisiting those. You might reconsider some sort of health or daily routine thanks to the 6th house. You could decide to change your diet or your fitness routine, or you might need to revise your work habits or reevaluate relationships with coworkers or colleagues. You might find yourself reassessing your long-term goals and your long-term aspirations thanks to the 11th house. So long-term considerations getting revisited. You could experience a shift in hopes and dreams, and this prompts a change in your direction for the future. And you could also find a new appreciation for networking and community involvement and social time. And also, you might be spending a lot more time with other people's children, thanks to the 11th house association. So this retrograde is going to be holding similar themes to the summer of 2015. This was the last time Venus stationed in your 9th house. So grab your agenda, grab your calendar, grab your journal. Go back to the summer of 2015, read about that, remember that time. That might be a time where you had some really big life questions, or maybe you were planning some sort of significant journey. Whatever happened, similar themes might pop up again, which offers you a opportunity to revisit and reassess. So here are the tips I have for you for dealing with the Venus retrograde. Number 1, review your values, review your beliefs, review what is important to you, what do you believe in, the big questions, consider them. Number 2, explore new cultures, explore new ways of life, travel, read, talk to people from different cultures, expand your mind. Take care of your health, eat healthy foods, exercise, get enough sleep. Thank you, 6th house. Maintain your daily routines. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Connect with friends. Connect with social networks. Spend time with friends and family. Join a group, join a club, or volunteer. You need to be social with this 11th house interaction. Be patient and understanding. Allow for adjustments. Check in with your work-life balance. Reconnect with old friends, or let go of people that are no longer in alignment with who you are. Use this as an opportunity to clear the air and strengthen bonds with who you want to strengthen bonds with. And lastly, be open to new connections. Embrace new friends or new social connections. Venus retrograde can definitely bring about new people in your life that then settle in. So allow for it. Allow for all these big-brained changes. There's probably some big philosophy that you've always held and always believed, and it's coming up for questioning. It's coming up for questioning with this Venus retrograde. So that's what we have. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below and let me know what you're expecting for this Venus retrograde. And I will be doing another video when Venus stations direct again in September 2nd. And we will be able to look back and discuss what happened, as well as talk about what's going to be happening moving forward with the Venus retrograde. So if you enjoyed this video, you can definitely delve deeper into astrology with me by joining my fellowship, where I offer weekly and monthly horoscopes for all the signs, or even more personalized to your own chart. Of course, I'm open for one-on-one consultations right now if you want to get a reading from me. And lastly, but not leastly, please know that you are welcome to join the 9th House Discord server, where we are always talking about astrology and tarot and current events. If you're an online person, I highly recommend it. If you're watching this video, you will probably really like the server. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Now we're moving on to Capricorn. Hello, my Capricorn rising besties. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 8th house, which is one of the harder retrogrades, in my opinion, only because it's very mental and very emotional. So I'll get into it though. Reevaluating shared finances are big, re-examining intimacy levels with people in your life, and exploring mysteries are all big themes with the 8th house. But I also need to mention that Venus will be affecting your 5th and 10th house topics as well, because Venus rules those houses in your chart. So rekindling an old romance, reimagining your creative side, reviewing your career, reflecting on your public image are all possibilities as well with this retrograde. Before I get into what to expect, just know Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now around July 22nd and it goes until September 3rd. So this is not a one-time event, but it is a journey. It is a journey of reflection and revision. So what can you expect, Capricorn risings? Some possible themes and effects could include discovering hidden aspects of your financial situation, such as hidden assets or unexpected debts. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I'm sorry. But money might be involved with the 8th house. You could also be reconsidering your personal boundaries and expectations in all of your relationships, not just romantic, but any intimate relationships you have. And intimate doesn't mean sexual, always, okay? Let me look up what intimate means exactly. Closely acquainted, familiar, close, private, personal. That is what intimate means. So intimate relationships, your boundaries with intimate relationships are being reconsidered. Also, you might find yourself deeply interested in exploring more mysteries or esoteric topics. You might feel yourself become a bit more spiritual, a bit more connected to the unseen. You might feel compelled to transform. The 8th house is about transformations also. So there's some sort of big transformation happening for you during this retrograde. And this is a good time for that, to harness that, I should say. Thank you to the 5th house, you might also rekindle old hobbies or old creative endeavors that used to bring you joy. You could reconnect with past love interests. I think I mentioned that, but or experience a resurgence of passion in your current relationships. You might also be leaning towards reassessing the value and satisfaction that you're getting from your professional life, your job, your career. You might experience some sort of shift in your career, your public image, or just the roles you are known for taking on through the people who know you, which prompts you to reassess your career goals sometimes. You could find yourself questioning your relationship with authority figures or with societal expectations at all. Another layer of that to move through. And you might gain insights during this Venus retrograde that lead to a transformation of your career and your public standing. There is something to harness here, something big. to harness here. I have some tips for you, but before I get into my tips, I want to tell you that this retrograde will hold similar themes to the summer of 2015. So grab your calendar, grab your agenda, grab your diary, look back to the dates during the summer of 2015. That was the last time Venus stationed retrograde in your 8th house. And you can look back to the transformations or the deep dives that you might have taken back then and know that those themes are returning and offering a chance to further explore and further grow in that direction. So here are my tips for you for dealing with the Venus retrograde. Number 1, review joint finances. Review joint financial agreements. You might want to look at joint bank accounts or just a business partnership you're involved in and how that is, what's the word I'm looking for? How it works, the mechanics of it. That's what I was looking for. Number 2, revisit intimacy and vulnerability issues. The 8th house deals with intimacy and trust, which requires vulnerability. And for those of us who struggle with being vulnerable, this Venus retrograde is going to be a master class, speed class, whatever they're called, like crash course. That's what I was looking for. This Venus retrograde is going to be a crash course in being vulnerable and truly vulnerable without pushing the responsibility onto other people. So this is a good time for working through trust and working through relationship contracts. It's a good time to have heart-to-heart talks with your partner or your close friends, whoever you need to have heart-to-heart with. And I don't even mean something big, like a big talk has to happen, which it might, but it could just be that this Venus retrograde is asking you to access your vulnerability more than you want to as a Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising does not want to indulge in vulnerability. It is very uncomfortable. But working through that and keeping yourself safe through that is huge. Number 3, exploring creative endeavors or pursuits. Whether it's a hobby or a project, you might find yourself wanting to shake something up creatively. Number 4, nurture your inner child. The 5th house is affected with this Venus retrograde, so you need to be looking into playfulness and joy and not taking things so seriously. That really helps lighten the mood with this intimacy and vulnerability theme that I'm bringing up from the 8th house. We need some lightness that makes it not seem so serious. Like, why so serious? It's not so serious, is it? Playfulness and joy. Finding things that make you happy and make you feel young at heart. Could be as simple as a dance-off in your living room or like swimming around and pretending to be a dolphin and not caring what anyone thinks. Treat yourself with the non-judgment that you would treat your child. You deserve that through this Venus retrograde. Number 5, review your career goals. The 10th house is at play here, so rethink your career path and your ambitions. It's a good time to reassess what you want professionally and how you're working towards it. That doesn't mean you need to quit your job and start a new one, but just, look at that roadmap. Look at your roadmap and decide to reprioritize what needs reprioritizing. Number 6, evaluate your public image. So not only is it your career, but also just like what you are known for in your community. Reflect on your public image. Does it align with who you are and what you stand for? Because if not, you can start to reflect different, more accurate ways of being. Number 7, be patient with these changes, whether it's shifts in your love life, in your job, in your creative pursuits. Be patient, because this retrograde is all about review and reassessment. So you don't need to make a final decision with anything. Just let the vibes guide you towards what needs your attention. Number 7, stay connected with friends and networks. Do not isolate. Do not isolate. You may not have a person or friend who can do it all for you and really satisfy all your needs, but you do have a bunch of friends that can satisfy different types of needs, and you can get what you don't get from them from yourself. So it's important. This Venus retrograde is a good time to catch up with friends or spend quality time with your social networks. Like I said, intimacy and vulnerability are the themes for this Venus retrograde. Number 7, 8, prioritize self-care. That's kind of similar to what I've been saying. You got to take care of your health. You got to sleep good, eat well, stretch, do your things that keep your mind and body healthy so that you can process all of the healing that is coming up without having a mental breakdown. I say that tongue in cheek. Okay. And the last tip I have is be open to change. This Venus retrograde is about transformation and rebirth for y'all with the 8th house. This Venus retrograde can bring in a time of major personal transformation, so embrace the changes and see them as opportunities for growth and blossoming into more of your true self. So that's what I have for now for the Venus retrograde. I will have a part 3 for you when Venus stations direct September 3rd, and we will discuss all of the things that happened and all the things that will happen. So until then, if you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper with me in astrology, you can join my fellowship where I have a private community. I have weekly horoscopes. I have monthly horoscopes, lots of options for the fellowship. So you can check out the fellowship if you want to join us. I also offer one-on-one consultations for astrology readings or Discord consultations. And of course, you are free to join my 9th house Discord server, where we are always chatting about fun, silly goose things. So please join us. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below and let me know what you are expecting for this retrograde. What has been coming up already? Because you're already feeling it. You've already been feeling it. You have an idea of what to expect. It's probably a bunch of things. It's not just one thing. So yeah, comment below. Let me know what's happening. And I will see y'all next time. Now we're going to move on to Aquarius. Hello, my Aquarius risings. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 7th house. So this has us reviewing relationship dynamics, rebalancing partnerships, revisiting negotiation tactics, and just reassessing social interactions with other people. And I'll talk more about what specifics to expect, but I do want to mention that Venus will be affecting your 4th and 9th houses also. Let me pull up your chart. So also reconnecting with your foundation is possible, your family, reevaluating your belief system, reconsidering travel or education plans. These are all effects also thanks to these houses being ruled by Venus. And before I get into what to expect, I want to mention that Venus retrograde is a process. It's not a one and done thing. It starts now around July 22nd and it ends September 3rd. You probably already have an idea of what's coming up for this Venus retrograde because we've been in the shadow period since my first video. So there won't be big surprises happening. You probably already have the vibe. Venus is currently, the day I'm filming this, the 19th, Venus is currently at the degree that it will station at. It's already sitting there. It's already slow as fuck. So we already know. We kind of already have a hint of what to expect. We don't know how it's going to play out, but we have a hint. And again, it's not a one and done, one-time event. It's a period of time for reflection, review, and revision. Okay, so what can you expect as an Aquarius rising with this Venus retrograde? Relationship issues like misunderstandings, arguments, or even breakups are possible with this. I just have to mention it because it's the 7th house. Don't shoot the messenger. The other things, problems with your home life, financial issues, family drama, maybe moving, it could also happen. Challenges with your education or with your career, maybe feeling lost, maybe feeling unmotivated. You might start to question a relationship and wonder if you're really compatible with your partner. You might feel like you're not getting along with your family members as much as you used to. You might feel like you don't like your job as much, or that you're not making the most out of your education. And as I list these things, I want you to know that it could be all of these things, a little bit of all of these things. It could be one of these things. Like, it really just depends on your personal chart. So I'm bringing up all the possible themes. That doesn't mean all of them will happen to you, but a lot of them will. So yeah, relationship rethinks, not only romantic. It could be a bestie also that needs a little reevaluation. But either way, whatever misunderstandings come up, you can clear them, and then it makes your bond a lot stronger. Exes might come up. Old flames, ex-besties, either physically or just in your mind, in your dreams, which prompts you to reevaluate what you truly value in a partnership. And partnership pondering is definitely a thing. Pondering on the nature of your relationships, of your partnerships, both personal and professional, are up for review. You might reconsider how great they are to you. You know, like maybe there are people that aren't fulfilling your needs, both personally and professionally. Negotiation, navigation is a theme here. This is a great time to hone in on your negotiation skills, especially within your relationships. You are given the silver tongue for that. Comfort in your home is a thing also. Venus rules your 4th house, so you might feel drawn to make your home a lot more comfortable or aesthetically pleasing, or reorganize, redo your home space. That's also something that could happen. Relationships with your family members might require attention. I already mentioned that one. But you might find yourself reconciling past issues with family, and then strengthening bonds, or letting go of people that you don't need to talk to anymore. Like, we are big fans of cutting people off in this house. Blood is not thicker than water. But yeah, reflecting on your roots, like delving into your family history, delving into childhood memories, uncovering how all of this has shaped your current life. Also, travel temptation. With Venus ruling your 9th house, you could definitely be feeling the itch for traveling or exploring different countries. You could be flying across the country a couple times. Physically traveling. If physically traveling isn't possible, you can definitely satisfy this by like eating exotic food, or just reading about different traditions, expanding your mind in other ways. It's a great time to reevaluate your beliefs, your perspectives. Are they serving you? Do they need an update? There are things we have believed our whole lives that might be coming up with, that might be receiving some backlash with what's going on in your life. So like, say you always believed this one thing and you're being presented with evidence of the contrary. So you're all fucked up and you're like, oh my God, what is real and what isn't? You don't have to know, but you're recalibrating your beliefs, okay? And also you might feel some sort of draw or desire to learn something new or return to school, and that is supported. It's could be formal education or self-study. So I'm going to talk about some tips. I'm going to give you some tips on what to do for this Venus retrograde. And before I get into that, I want to mention that this retrograde will hold similar themes to the summer of 2015. That was the last time Venus stationed in your 7th house. So go back to your agenda, your diary, read what was going on for you around the summer of 2015, because those relationship dynamics and renegotiations that took center stage back then will make a comeback with new opportunities to find balance and to find harmony today. So here are my tips for Aquarius risings for this Venus retrograde. Review your relationships on purpose. Don't let it happen to you. Do it first. Don't let the transit happen to you. Use the transit before it happens to you. So review your relationships mindfully. Take time to reflect, both romantic and business. Are your relationships balanced? Are they bringing you happiness? Number 2, rekindle romance. If you're in a relationship, put in extra effort into showing your love and appreciation. Venus retrograde in the 7th house is a great time to reconnect and reignite the spark. Number 3, reflect on your home life. It's a good time to think about your living situation. Are you comfortable here? Does it feel like a sanctuary? Do you need to reorganize and reset and start over? Now's a great time. Address family matters. Number 4, thanks to the 4th house, this is a good time to connect more deeply with your family or address any issues with them. Number 5, expand your horizons. Thanks to the 9th house of effect, this is a great time to, Venus retrograde is a great time to go on an adventure, to travel, also to sign up for classes, education, or plan a future trip, a vacation. This is also a great time, like I said earlier, you might be reevaluating your beliefs, and that's good. I don't know if I framed it that way earlier, but like if feelings and thoughts are coming up that you need to question, now's the time to question it. Like, you're right on time. It's not the wrong time for it. Like, question what you believe in, and that's fine. Take some time to reflect on your values. Reconsider if this is the truth, and it totally might be, and it could definitely strengthen that connection also. What number am I on? I think number 7. Stay connected with your friends. Reach out to your friends. Organize a casual get-together. Spend quality time in your favorite social network. Be social. This is a good time to be social. Number 8, I think. Self-care. Self-care. Besties, don't neglect your health. Make sure you're eating what you want to eat, getting enough sleep, making time for relaxation, making time for your daily walks or your weekly walks, whatever it is that is self-care to you. And maintain this routine, because we're having all of these changes. There's a lot of changes happening with this Venus retrograde. So you need a little bit of a routine to help you have a stable, a little stable sense that provides comfort and normalcy. And my last tip, please be patient with yourself and with other people, because this Venus retrograde will bring shifts, unexpected shifts, and revelations. And you don't have to rush through them. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to have everything settled until after September, okay? Give yourself time to process and to adapt. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below to let me know what is happening for you, what you're expecting to come up for this Venus retrograde. I'll be back with a part 3 where I will be talking about, we can all discuss what happened during the retrograde, and then I'll be telling you what to expect as Venus stations direct and goes into its shadow period. So if you enjoyed this video and you want more astro information, you can join my fellowship for weekly and monthly horoscopes, as well as mentorships. You can also book a reading with me. And of course, you can join the 9th House Discord server for free, where we chat astrology and tarot and current events, and we just have the coolest little community. I even like to make little emojis of people's cats. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Love you all. I will see you next time when Venus is direct around September 3rd. Godspeed, friends. And then we're moving on to Pisces. Hello, my Pisces rising besties. Venus will be stationing retrograde in your 6th house. So this has you reevaluating your work-life balance. It has you reviewing your health routines. It has you rethinking organization. It has you getting a new pet. I'm going to get into more examples in a minute, but I also want to mention that Venus will be affecting your 3rd and 8th houses as well, because Venus rules those houses in your chart. So you could be revisiting patterns of communication and fights that you've had. You could be exploring sibling or cousin relationships, or with besties and close friends. You could be reassessing shared resources and finances. Are the give and take in your relationships balanced? And also dealing with travel or car issues is a possibility. Don't shoot the messenger. It's the 3rd house, okay? The 3rd and the 8th house also. So before I get into what to expect, I want to reiterate that Venus retrograde is a process. It starts now around July 22nd and it ends on September 3rd. It is not a one-time event, but a time of reflection and revision. And honestly, you already know. You already know what this Venus retrograde is doing. You can already feel it. Venus, the day I'm recording this, the 19th of July, Venus is already at the point where it will station. It's at 28 degrees Leo. So it is moving at a glacial pace. So we already have an idea. We already kind of know what's happening. But I will give you more specifics on what to expect, okay? So, some possible themes include a work-life rebalance. So you need to reevaluate your work-life balance. Maybe you're overworking yourself and you need more you time, or vice versa, but I kind of doubt it. It's normally that you need more relaxation. You also might want to have some sort of health check, going to the doctors, reassessing your diet and your fitness routines, your medications. Working on a new wellness practice is possible. You might also get the sudden urge to declutter your workspace, your home, or even just your schedule in general. It's all about creating an environment that supports your well-being with this retrograde. You could also be, like I said, reevaluating your routines. The routines that once worked for you may no longer be working. A new morning routine, a new night routine could be very beneficial, and you could find yourself falling into that. Also, relationships with coworkers might come into focus. This is a great time to clear up any misunderstandings or build stronger connections with colleagues or coworkers or service workers that you've hired. Also, thanks to the third house, there could be some communication tune-ups happening in general, whether it's with your siblings, your friends, your colleagues. This is a time where you might be forced to reflect on your communication patterns. Like, are you truly saying what you mean to say? Also, short trips could become a theme if time permits. You might be inclined to take short, spontaneous trips, and this could bring some much-needed perspective. Also, Venus affecting your 8th house brings intimate relationships or shared resources or vulnerabilities to the surface. So are your relationships balanced physically, mentally, emotionally, or do adjustments need to be made? Do boundaries need to be put in place? Vulnerability is a big one here. We need to be able to harness that. And also just transformation in general. So looking back at the significant transformations that you've undergone, are there unresolved feelings or lessons to take moving forward? This transformation energy is big. And specifically, this retrograde holds similar themes to the summer of 2015 because that was the last time Venus stationed retrograde in your 6th house. So we can look back to your calendar, your emails, your diary, any records you have of the summer of 2015, and reflect on the changes that you made back then, especially in terms of health and work, because it's likely that similar themes will resurface, giving you a chance for further refinements. I also want to bring up pets. You might get a new pet, or some sort of shift happening with your pet is possible too. So here are the tips I have for dealing with Venus retrograde for Pisces risings. Number 1, you're going to revisit your health regime. Go ahead, it's fine. So here are the tips I have for dealing with Venus retrograde as a Pisces rising. You're going to revisit your health routine. So it's a great time to assess if your current habits, your current health habits are serving your well-being. Maybe there's some sort of diet tweak or a new exercise routine that could help you. Maybe going on walks. Maybe you're walking too much even. Maybe stretching is more something you need to do. But reassessing your current habits. And number 2, evaluate your work-life balance. The 6th house governs work. Reflect on whether you're content with your current job and content with your balance between your work life and your personal life, and then make those shifts. Venus retrograde supports you in making those shifts. And if you don't make those shifts, it will make those shifts for you. Number 3, reflect on your communication style. Since Venus rules your 3rd house, it's a good time to review how you communicate with other people. Are you expressing yourself the way you want to express yourself? Are you expressing yourself clearly, empathetically? Do you have too many boundaries? Do you have not enough boundaries? Consider your communication style. Number 4, learn something new. You are supported in learning new things or teaching things to other people. This is a good time to pick up a new book, start a new course, dive into a fresh hobby. All of that's supported with this retrograde. And thanks to the 8th house's influence, diving deep into your emotional self is supported. You might be feeling more introspective. This is a good time to process deep emotions and hidden aspects of yourself. Talking to therapists or counselors or a trusted close friend is supported. I lost count. The next one. But keep in touch with your network. Do not isolate. Do not self-isolate. Connect with your friends and peers. Engage in social activities. Volunteer work. Simply catch up with a bestie or a friend, acquaintance over a cup of coffee. No isolating yourself. Okay? No isolating yourself. Make time for self-care. Make sure you are eating what you want to eat, sleeping enough, sneak in some meditation, sneak in some yoga, and maintain a comforting routine in general because there's all these changes happening with your daily life, possibly. So stick to the habits you want to stick to so that there's some sort of normalcy for you. And my last tip is to exercise patience. Venus retrograde is a time of reassessment and recalibration. So allow yourself the time and the patience to navigate through these because you're not supposed to have all the answers during Venus retrograde. This is when you have questions that you're working through. This is a trial period. This is when you try new things and see if it actually works for you. And then once Venus stations direct, you can implement these concretely in your routine. But exercise patience because you don't have all the answers and you don't need to have all the answers right now. Allow yourself to not know. Okay, and that is what I have for the Pisces risings. Thank you so much for being here. Comment below if you have any questions. Comment below, let me know what you are expecting or what you're going through already because I know you're already feeling this. You're already feeling it. And if you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into astrology with me, remember you can join my fellowship. I have weekly and monthly horoscopes as well as a mentorship that I'm starting up. And I'm also available for one-on-one readings. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th house Discord server where we keep the astro conversation always flowing, pulling tarot cards and just chatting it up, having a great time. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you're an online person, you'll probably like the Discord server. And that's what I have. I will be checking in again on September 2nd when Venus stations direct again, and we can look back and reevaluate what actually happened and then look forward to what is going to be happening when Venus stations direct and we are dealing with its shadow period, because we'll be dealing with its shadow period probably until October. So yeah, that's what we got. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.